Welcome to Cleanse Your Mental Palate, the show that washes the bad taste of the world right out of your mind. I am Jacob, also known as Sky, and I am joined with...
Ethan Duke, aka Outlaw 999.
Sir, so you got an album going on, about to release it.
Yeah, I do, dude. I think I'm gonna drop it today.
Oh, for real? You're gonna drop it like today? I didn't even know
Yeah, I
about that.
think so. Yeah, I
Alright.
sent you the link to it.
Oh, you did? I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
listen to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you said you wanted to make a documentary about it. Um, when do you
Well,
wanna...
now I'm thinking, since I changed up some of the stuff I was gonna talk about in the album, I feel like I'm just gonna have it as an overall view of me instead of
Alright.
just the album, because it only focuses on one thing when I can focus more
Yeah, yeah.
on a variety inside the podcast, Yeah.
Yeah. Could Yeah, it's actually a pretty good idea. So
Mm-hmm.
how long
Just
do you
so
think it's
whenever,
gonna... Hmm?
whenever people come in, like they can have like a sense of me instead of just viewing what I talk about in the album,
Yeah.
so they have a broader idea.
It's a pretty good idea, give people like this introduction to yourself, get them more interested in you as well as the music. It's actually a pretty good idea.
Absolutely.
But so for anyone who's listening to this podcast for the first time, this is a new thing. We're gonna have like other people on, but we're doing a startup kind of thing at the moment where we want to get together talent, and we want to gather people with similar interests and kind of see what talents we can combine to make something better. So for instance, like with this documentary, he does music, I do video editing. It's like we're gonna try and put something together that's really nice first project. And I suppose in the next episode we could give out the name because we don't really have everything set up like a channel or anything yet, but it'll probably come in the
Most
next few
definitely.
days, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. But
Yeah, but that's the whole thing we're trying to do, People, they're all passionate about something. And so anyone who wants to use that passion, we bring it all together and make something, which is, why this podcast is has the play on words with palette in it, because it's dealing with art. And a lot of people are really passionate about art. And so if we put it all together, we can make something beautiful.
and especially in this generation as well, like this new rise of like what you see like social media stars and this idea of like fame and like the ability to get your name out there, I suppose, more than fame. Like just like have an audience, share
Absolutely.
yourself. A lot of people are looking for that at the moment. And I just feel like if we create something, we could really start something. So I think we
Yeah,
should
most
we'll probably
definitely.
have an yeah, we'll probably have an email set up. And like I suppose what might be a good idea is like having people email, like the email like with their talent, like maybe some sort of showing of their talent. I suppose
Hmm.
like if it's music, like
For
a little
sure.
like a sample or something, or like a piece of art. That
Yeah,
could be a good way to find people because we really want this thing to grow
for
and
sure. For sure.
yeah. But you have any other
We
ideas for
really
like
want to help
projects?
people.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause-
right now, I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like once we have people, we can all brainstorm together and come up with something.
yeah. Yeah. Because I suppose it's hard to come up with something out of nothing, but
Yeah.
yeah. Suppose it's that paradox of like we need people to help us create something, but we also need something to
We also need
create
to
to
create
show people.
something to bring people in. Yeah,
Yeah. But suppose that is part of the podcast. That free promo, that sweet
for sure.
dinero.
Yeah. And,
um,
I feel like for a lot of people, it's especially important because I know for us, we've been through some hard times. And so art is really a way to express ourselves and get through some of that trauma that we've been through. I feel like a lot of
yeah.
people feel the same way.
Like from my experience, like the most pain brings the best art. It's not always that case. There are some very happy people
Oh,
like who
yeah.
can make
That
great
make
art.
amazing art.
Yeah, but for me, like, so
But
I've been having a pretty crap day, but I just started writing something today, and it's actually probably like my best work so far. like music wise.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm
Mhm.
like, it really just brings my attention to like when you have that, because inspiration can come from anywhere, and
Yeah,
pain is so
exactly.
heavily
Exactly.
emotional that you can just create
For
a lot
sure.
out of it. And for
You
me,
know, man,
like
and
hmm?
yeah. And I'm surprised it took us this long, because like we've been through a lot of stuff and we're finally here.
Yeah, like I just don't know. I think it's also the fact of like I just don't know what I want to do, and this kind of thing
Oh,
gives me
most definitely.
the
And
yeah, it would give me the chance to do kind of anything. And especially with more
right,
talent, like with more skills, you can really make
exactly.
anything.
Because there's a lot of people who don't know what they want to do and they feel like, their art, it's never going to get them anywhere. And people tell them that all the time. But if they
Yeah.
have an outlet for them to actually make it somewhere with it,
Mhm.
then, I feel like a lot of people would enjoy that.
Yeah. Like for instance, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is how like so like you have the music, I have like the or
Yeah.
God, my words, my like editing, and my friend who helped us make the Discord server we're using. He's been
Mhm.
he's been doing 3D rendering of stuff, and
That's
like
sick.
yeah, so like if you really think about it, like if we have someone who's really good with video, like recording like real stuff, it could come to the point where we have enough talent where we could like put together like a movie, not like a full length, but like a good short film or
Yeah.
something.
A feature film, yeah.
Yeah, like
Or yeah, short film. Yeah, yeah.
is especially if we get like a writer on board, like someone who's really good with like
Oh
making
yeah, most
stories.
definitely.
Cuz I'm like I have a lot of
Mhm.
stories, but I don't really like have the ability to write them well. Like they just don't come out the way
Yeah.
I want them to. So if you have a
Mhm.
writer, you have someone who can like do editing, you have someone who can make like 3D renderings of things, you just have all these talents, you can come up with something as great as like a short film just with all the different people
Yeah,
involved.
exactly. Exactly.
But, yeah, I don't really know what kind of projects to make yet, but I just feel like when we do have those people
Dude,
on
there's
board, it's gonna really come together.
yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Um, By the way, wherever this is posted, I suppose we'll have like links to like our individual. Because another thing about this is like
Yeah.
it would be good like if everyone had their own individual thing as well. Not everyone has to, of
Mhm.
course. Like some people might just want to be
Yeah,
part of a bigger collective, and that's cool too. But
exactly.
I've got my YouTube channel. You've got your SoundCloud and all that. So, do you have a YouTube channel at
Yeah.
the moment that you upload on?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we'll put all the links to socials wherever if there's a description on what we upload this on, we'll find out. But
Mhm.
that way like you
Yeah,
can see
for
what kind of
sure.
stuff we make. So it's not just like we're asking for your talent. We're also asking like you can
Mhm.
see what we do. But
Yeah.
yeah. But we're
Eh,
asking a couple people at the moment who want to join in. So see if
yeah.
they respond.
Mhm.
Let's hope. But
Yeah. Oh, one thing
yeah.
I wanna mention is, you know, don't be scared to, come out and show what you do because, I had that fear at first before I started doing the music. I was scared, man, of what people were gonna think about it and how they were gonna see me. 'Cause I just didn't want, my emotions to be made fun of, and I feel like a lot of people have that fear.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, even
So,
people
like
who are starting out are welcome as well, because, like, if you were to take a look at, like, my
yeah.
YouTube channel, for instance, 3 years ago is, like, the first video. It's crap. It's really bad.
Mhm.
It's got,
Yeah.
like, it's probably at, like, 15 FPS. The mic quality sounds like I'm speaking into a stuffed animal. Like,
Yeah, but dude,
you never start
practice
off perfect, but, like, when you have that
yeah.
support and you have that motivation,
Mhm.
like,
And
especially
you
that
have
comes from,
people
like, a
behind
collective.
you.
Yeah, it really,
Yeah,
like,
most definitely.
you improve a lot. Like,
Man,
just like that.
I don't think I would have, shown more people my music if it wasn't for you, you know? You
Oh yeah,
started, giving me your opinion on it and I felt better about it.
me and our boy Dairy King himself, drinker of milk, Big Al. Shout out to Big Al.
Oh my gosh.
Our favorite
Yeah.
song, it's
Shout out
2
to my boy.
a.m. I should be in bed. It's
I
like
should
one of my
be in
favorite
bed.
songs. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness.
Um, Yeah, and I still
Oh,
remember like when we were on like the courtyard in the school you used to go to with us. We there's like this big courtyard area with like benches and stuff, and I was just coming in from the cafeteria, and I was walking
yeah.
in the courtyard, and you and our two other friends in the friend group like just started screaming from across the courtyard my YouTube name, and I was like, "What is wrong with you people?"
Oh,
It,
yeah,
wa-
yeah,
it was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
pretty funny looking back, but yeah, no,
Yeah,
dude, this
dude. I
has
remember we told a lot of people about it.
yeah, this has nothing to do with this podcast, but I just got a 90 on my Spanish exam, so that's fire. Shout out to my
Dude,
Spanish
epic.
teacher.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Man, I started school next week and I am not ready, dude.
yeah, it's. I mean, I'm
Like,
happier doing it online myself. Are you doing it in person or online?
we're gonna do it online too. Dude, I feel like I'm gonna be in the classes, right? Just
Hmm.
sitting there, not even paying attention to what the teacher's saying, just looking to see if there's any fine girls in there and start messaging them on Google. Dude, through our
Yes,
school emails.
through your school emails.
Through the school emails, because it's gonna be on like
Yes.
Zoom or something.
Yeah, it's the best way to do
So
it is the school emails, man.
yeah, most definitely, dude. Most definitely.
Dude, my one of my teachers. Well, and you probably know her, Miss. Well, I shouldn't name drop, but the avid teacher. She
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
making us do everything on Canvas, and
Mm-hmm.
that is what it is. But like we used to be using Google, and the thing is, like I already have the Canvas app for college, like for my college courses,
Yeah.
so I can't like log in on her Canvas. So like now, like it's very hard for me to do it on the phone because all we have to do is like answer a question every day. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
now I have to go out of my way to go on Google Chrome on my phone. Cause like I wake up at like 9 a.m. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up to answer a
Yeah,
question
dude.
for 5 minutes.
That's that's the
Like
thing, man.
very
I've
first
I've
world
been out of
problem,
school
but
for
come on now.
yeah.
It's just
I've been out of school for so long, and I know jumping back into it is gonna be so crazy, dude. Because it's been like
yeah.
half a year, maybe a
Yeah.
little longer.
I mean that was probably the best is how we like didn't have to go into school for so long like because I'm pretty sure for anyone
Yeah, I know, dude.
who's been in like public education their whole life, yeah, that is the longest that no we'd ever been out of school for.
Yeah, out of
Like,
school ever. Yeah.
it's such a crazy thought is after like 12 years, this is, or like 11, 10, 12 years, like this is the longest that we
Mm-hmm.
have ever not stepped foot in the school.
Right, exactly.
And that actually brought up like a very fascinating to me like thought of like that's a lot of time in a school building, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's
we
so
do
much
spend a
time
lot of
you
time.
spend. Yeah, doing things that I don't know, I hold this belief that like school really is not for everyone, but
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like for me and you, that's definitely the case.
yeah, like I mean, I can do it. It's not like I don't only mean that to say like some
Yeah,
people just
it's
don't
not like
have what
it's
it is mentally. Like
difficult.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I still like I bust out like whatever grades on tests and stuff, but it's just not
Mhm.
like I believe humans have to have passion to accomplish something well at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see
Dude,
so many
that's
miserable
a
people and they just don't
that's a
have
point I
passion.
was gonna bring up.
Yeah.
Is like, I feel like there's a big problem nowadays in school is mental health, bro, and we don't take a look at it enough. And not really people don't really take it seriously, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of kids out there who just like they don't want to do it. Like they just don't want to do the school stuff. And a lot of the times, it's coming from mental health issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also like one of those things where like when you admit to that, like you're like, I really just don't like it here. Like you get this almost
Yeah.
reaction of like I don't
Mhm.
know, like it
Like
does
what's
need to
wrong
be
with
made
you?
aware that yeah, exactly. Like it's not a mental disorder to not like the way school is structured. My thing is like
Right.
I mostly have issues with like motivation. And for me it's like,
Mhm.
well, I'm coming here and I'm spending what, 8 hours of my life. 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
Mhm.
40 hours per week. That is,
Yeah.
what? I'm about to bust out Siri. Siri, what is 365 divided by 7?
And while you're looking that up, dude, it's like we only get 2 days of rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is
It's
52
five for
times
two.
40? Okay. So we spend 2,080 hours in school a year, approximately.
That's insane.
Well, no, I should
That's insane.
subtract like 3 months out of that because I just did like the whole year. But like, regardless, we're talking over 1,000, and it's just a lot of time, is what it comes down to.
It is a lot of
It's like
time.
this thing of like you
And
spend all
then
this time, and what are you getting? Because it's not just the
right,
time. You can spend
right.
time is almost a currency in today's world. Now you spend it on things that are um that you want back. You spend your time on things that you want. So for school, what am I getting
Right.
back for my time? No, I'm not,
Mm,
because once you get out of like middle school, right, you kind of have learned basic knowledge. You've got basic
yeah, and
mathematics. Hmm?
you start going over stuff again.
Yeah, like, and
Like
even
it's
in middle
like you're
school.
repeating the same information.
Yeah, I remember sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. I was sitting there like, why am I learning the same history class every single
Mm-hmm.
year?
Over and over and over again, and
Yeah.
it's the same history over and over and over.
And it's like I've just come to this conclusion that it's like there comes a point when the knowledge is no longer needed. You've got,
Yeah,
like, I'd say after algebra 1, math, the rest of them aren't needed that way. I think what we
it
need to do is
really
take
isn't.
take certain, because so here's a good example is I once asked my math teacher, like, hey, why do I need this in life? And we were talking about like the formula for interest, I think. And his
Mm-hmm.
answer was, because you need to know how to calculate interest, right? Fairly standard answer. But when you think about that, like today, right? What do you have with you 24/7? You got a phone. All this
Yeah,
information is not like as needed as it was before. And yeah, you can make the argument, oh, you rely on your phone too much. Sure. But that's
yeah,
why you have the backbone information. That's why you have the algebra 1 and maybe like the general, like, I wouldn't even say world history, but like world history to an extent. Because you do want to know stuff,
absolutely,
but why do I need to know about Mesopotamian agricultural societies when, like,
for
why
sure.
does that matter?
Or at least learn it 3, 4 times
How
throughout
about we
your
learn it
life.
maybe
You
10
know.
times? How about we learn maybe 10 every year? No, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
it just gets like, you
dude.
don't need to learn it so much that you lose time that you could be using on something else. I really
And
think like,
it's
hmm?
not even just like it's not even just like all the useless information you're getting. It's also all the pointless drama and social interactions that don't really matter
Yeah.
and that people care so much about.
And you have a
You
better
know?
like experience with that than me, or like you have a more knowledgeable one, because with me, like I've only been in this school where I have a class of like 80 people. Now it's at like
Yeah,
I think 60 or like maybe
hmm
early 70s. So it's like,
for sure.
we
And
don't have a
dude,
lot of people. So our drama
hmm
basically doesn't exist. We actually, me and
yeah,
shout outs to Big Al, have not even seen a fight in our school. And yeah, fights are bad things,
no, dude,
but
yeah.
isn't that
I
weird?
don't think, yeah, I don't think a fight has ever happened.
Yeah, and
Even
like,
when I was there, I don't think it ever happened.
yeah, it's just so strange. Like, and I suppose on one hand, it's a good thing that
Yeah,
there's no fights, right? But it's this idea that
yeah,
we are losing. And so I guess this is more of a conversation for early colleges in general, but
hmm
rather than
yeah,
like school. But so in the early college system, for those who don't really know anything about it, like, what you do is you essentially cram information. The idea is you take your
yeah,
classes in a shorter,
yeah.
faster
You
period of
get through
time.
high school so you can move on to college classes and do
Yeah.
enough for.
Like as a
They
senior,
say it's
I've
not really, but it really is like 2 years of credits.
yeah, like so as a senior, I take just college classes and one high school class that we only have because they don't want us to go on campus if we don't have to, which I think is, I guess that's another point to itself we can touch on later, but the idea that I'm smart enough to go to your classes, but I am not smart enough to conduct myself in a social situation.
Yeah,
And I get the
because we're
danger, but
kids.
at the same time, I'm like, well,
Hmm.
why am I smart enough to do this
Yeah.
educationally, but not smart enough to handle
Hmm.
walking to the store and purchasing a bag of chips?
Yeah, and I know there were some problems with that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, a lot of people would have respected it.
Yeah, and like I understand, but it's also this issue of like, one person I don't like the idea that one person messed it up for everybody. I think that is a
Yeah,
very
for sure.
lazy, I suppose is the right word, way of handling
Hmm.
problems. Is one kid
They
messed up.
loved, yeah, they loved to push that on us.
I mean, one kid throws a wet floor sign out of a bathroom window.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh, that was so funny.
Maybe,
It was actually really
oh,
funny. But
maybe he
like,
threw a few things out of the window too. But I mean, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah. But like, I guess the library is a good example. Is people used to go to the library, and again, I understand not going to like maybe the student center or dorms. I think no going in dorms
yeah,
is a very
like,
good rule,
yeah, no,
very smart.
that's absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely
But when it comes to, oh, you can't even go to the store that's next to your class, and I'm like on campus store.
right,
You're not even leaving campus.
right,
It's literally in the middle
right.
of campus. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you complaining? Or like here's a good example is food. Like Chick-fil-A, for instance. We have a Chick-fil-A on
Yeah,
campus, and
exactly,
we're not allowed to eat it.
exactly.
And one of the answers is, oh, because our county doesn't allow that. But you can bring that food. You can bring it from home, like in a bag, right? Or in a
Yeah,
lunchbox. So why can I bring it from home, as in like pay for it, and then bring it to school, but not go right there and spend my money to which helps the campus economy in the long run. I would assume they take a
exactly.
cut of the profit. And like,
Yeah,
so
for being on
what's the issue
campus.
here? Yeah. It's like what's the issue here? I don't like, especially because I know that at a certain time you are allowed to eat whatever you want in school. I know that like there's a time
Exactly.
that doesn't matter anymore because like
Yeah.
schools have vending machines, right? Oh, and that's another problem. They won't let us use the vending machines.
And
So it's like, what
that's
is?
crazy, dude.
Yeah. So like for us, I guess
Yeah.
this to pull it back to what we were talking about before. Like, this is this kind of situation where we just don't have the same experience that normal high school does, and it's something I
Right,
actually thought about
exactly.
talking about after, not to get into too much detail, but what happened, like May of that year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
not to put any details, but like after
I feel
that
like we
happened,
can,
it made me reflect a lot.
yeah,
Well, then
same,
again,
dude. I feel like
it's in my YouTube
we can talk
bio,
about
so
that at another point if we want to, but
yeah,
like
because
maybe in
that's
another
a
podcast.
that's a much
Like to
deeper
shed
issue
more
on like
light on
mental health.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
I feel like we should have a separate podcast episode for that.
yeah. But after that happened, I really
Yeah.
reevaluated like the place I was at, and I was
Every,
like,
yeah, everything I did
yeah,
beforehand, like
I
who I
actually wrote a,
was.
yeah, I really wrote a speech actually about like the issues about the early college system because it
Yeah.
really made me think like, again, not to get into too much detail, but people who are already
Mm-hmm.
being stressed about academics, this is a
Yeah.
very toxic environment for that kind of person.
It really is.
No, like you're constantly being compared to other
Especially,
schools and just not
yeah,
good. And you're getting told every month
and
by someone that you're not good
especially,
enough. You get yelled at and you're like, "Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I know they did that to me and you a lot too,
yeah." But
all the
sorry, you
time.
were saying something though?
Yeah, especially if you're different,
Yeah.
like if you go against, norms of like how people usually are, then you're especially gonna get targeted.
Yeah, and it's like, that's kind of
Especially,
in the bullying system, but I guess
yeah,
my main
and
issue is kids are always going to do that. I think until the end of time, you
yeah,
know,
they're just
it,
always gonna do that. See
yeah,
people who are different and not like it
yeah.
because
But
that's
when
what
the
they're taught.
school, sorry,
No, no, you go ahead. Yeah, I
oh,
was good. Go ahead.
yeah, but like when the school like feeds into it, that's my issue.
Dude, exactly,
When like you've got,
exactly.
because you can't stop like this whole thing about
Because
Stop bullying. That's
If
never
you're gonna
going to happen. It just
no,
won't.
dude, especially if you're an educator and you're doing the
Mm-hmm.
same exact thing, that's terrible, dude. You shouldn't
Yeah.
even be an educator if that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah. And it's just a real shame, but like it made me evaluate
And
that the early college system is
yeah,
not what they
everything.
make it out to be. What
You know,
what you're shown is, oh, you can get to college faster, you can get credits, and that's good. And I suppose one great
mhm.
thing is being on a campus, right? It's more open,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's this idea that you're now shown something that it's the equivalent to me of, let's say, going into the year 1800 with a television and cable, showing it to them for an
Exactly.
hour, and then taking it back to the future, and then they never see it again. They will
Right.
always want that thing. And with us, we've
Right.
been shown this campus, we've been shown this life, and then we're told,
Mhm.
by the way, you can't
You can't have
enjoy
it.
any of it. You can
Yeah.
only take the classes, you can only,
You know,
deal with the stress, but you can't actually use the resources there to benefit you, like to enjoy yourself, I suppose. And I
exactly.
understand, like, when you have class, go to class. But we've had so much free time, especially junior year. We had a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And, we had, because, you're not going to have a full schedule all the time. So I know I
Mhm.
had like an hour of free time a day, but they wanted me to sit
Yeah.
inside of a classroom and do
Exactly. You have to sit
nothing.
in the classroom because you're not allowed to do anything else.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, me being me, I didn't, I still did whatever. Like, full disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still did whatever. I
Yeah.
still went to the store, but
Yeah. We got ourselves in trouble a couple times.
oh yeah, back when. Oh yeah,
But
that
yeah,
incident. That
that's
was
that's
great.
something I wanted to
That's
talk
great.
about, dude. After May 2018, dude, we never, got a chance to breathe. We never got to have a break.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a one day thing, and after that, it was brushed over. Everybody forgot about it, and we were in a really bad place, man.
Yeah.
And then they kept on laying more on us and more on us, and they kept on putting all this pressure and everything else, and telling us, "You guys are this and you guys are that." Especially us as individuals, they
Mm-hmm.
kept on, basically telling us how bad we were.
Yeah.
And
N-
I know in our friend group, especially, dude, I didn't really
Yeah.
see it in anyone else. It caused us to rebel. And we did stuff just out of spite
Yeah.
to
And
get back at them.
it's like at this point, I'm just like, I just don't like. I don't know. I don't know if normal high school would have been better for me, but I
Dude,
know there's just a lot of
that's
toxicity in this environment
yeah, yeah. I
that
wanted I wanted
is
to talk about
undeniable.
that. I wanted to talk about that, dude. It's like in early college, it's so much pressure and it's so much work, and you know everyone, man. You know everyone, so it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for if you do something, if you make a mistake, it stays with you the whole time. Out of personal experience, it just stays
Mm-hmm.
with you, and you're never really forgiven for it, you know. And like, it's just too much, man. It's just too much. And then I went to a public school, you know, last year, and it's just so different, man. There's not as much pressure. They're not telling you who to be. You know, everyone's not in your business. You can be somebody without all the other people in that environment to, you know,
Yeah.
be all in your business.
Yeah. Because I
And
genuinely
it's
think
and it's nice.
I've only had one other student who I have never actually had a class with. I think I might even be wrong about that, but I think I've only had one in
Yeah,
my entire
dude, that's what
school
I'm saying.
who I've
Like,
never had
we
a
had
class
classes
with.
with like everyone, I think.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, the thing for me is I just don't. High school is a very volatile moment in one's life because like you get to this point where like suddenly, like, I'm not going to give
Yeah.
you the whole stupid speech about your body's changing, you have hormones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's more mental. Like you have this stress on you, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
you're being like, oh, you need to pick out a college, you need to do this, this, this. You have your whole life and the next 60 years of it set up by
Yeah.
sophomore year. Otherwise, you're going to be failure and you're going to be nothing.
Just to
It's
work
just
your whole
toxic.
life. And if you don't, you're gonna fail and you're
Yeah.
not worthy of being here.
That's so just someone who I live with just like said something to me about that very similar, and I was like, what? Like that's such a dumb. Like she was talking and she was just trying to pull me down, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. Like, so it was like, well, you'll never be able to have a boss because you resist authority. And
Yeah, that's exactly
and
what they
I'm
tell me.
like, come on now, like you got to think. One, resisting authority does not make you stupid. That's the first thing. Is if you're either homeless
Right.
or you're gonna have a job, you're gonna have a job. You'll put up with it.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
it's very dumb to just assume, oh, you don't like authority, therefore you will fail. No. There are
exactly.
also people who surpass that and who become authority. Not like police. I don't mean
Hmm.
like police or something. I mean like you become your own boss, or you work in a way
Right.
that you don't have to suck up. And that's the other thing, is like this idea that, oh, all work is just boss bad. No, there are some good
Yeah,
bosses. That's
they
the other thing,
really
is like,
are.
and all work
Like
isn't
they'll
like, I
become your
just,
best friends too, man.
yeah. Like, for instance, my brother was the manager of a Little Caesars, and a lot of the people who we ended up living with, worked with him in Little Caesars, and they
Works
were like
for
really
him.
good friends.
Yeah,
You know, it was like sometimes he had to be boss,
exactly.
but he was
Hmm.
also like, he wasn't just rude. And that's the other thing, is like, you can't just
Right.
assume
He was a nice
every
guy.
job's gonna suck, you know? Because they
Hmm.
don't. Some, yeah. Like sometimes you're just not gonna like your job, and that's what it is. But and me, I just don't want to be in that kind of. I want to make my own thing. My
Yeah,
desire isn't really to
same for
escape having a
sure.
boss. It's to want to create. But
Yeah. You know what sucks?
what?
If you go out and talk to people about this stuff, they'll tell you, "Come on, be realistic. Do you really think you're gonna go anywhere with this?"
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like
It's just
for
toxicity.
most of high school, you know, we were different and we did stuff a certain way. And the whole time people were telling us that we were gonna be failures, man. The whole time.
Yeah,
It was just
I
like,
just don't get it.
yeah. We were going through so much, and a lot of people knew that, but they never really cared. They just kept on trying to push us forward, you know? And it took a toll on us.
I suppose that's another massive issue, is just the idea that humans are numbers.
Right.
Like, especially again, not because I'm not trying to start trauma, but we had a certain we'll
Yeah.
call her an authority figure. Um,
Yeah.
and it really felt like that whole time that we were not humans, we were the numbers that would save her job. That if we
Especially
didn't
from,
perform right, we were nothing but tools to keep her in
yeah,
the
for
position
sure.
she was in.
Especially
And
the way she yelled at us.
yeah, and we could be wrong. All right, to be fair, maybe that's just how she acts. But to me,
Yeah.
like, especially again with the May
Hmm.
incident, right? That was not the correct way to handle
Yeah.
that, and it was just aggressive, and it hurt
No.
somebody, and it
In
was
a way
just
that,
damaging.
you know,
Yeah, like
that we couldn't fix after that.
yeah, you can't, especially in high school, especially in high school, you cannot
Especially,
say whatever and do whatever and expect the
yeah,
people that you're affecting to not like take a toll from
feel
that.
some type of way.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just because every month
And
getting yelled at,
also,
being told, "Oh, you're not good enough. You're gonna fail. You're gonna leave.
right.
You're gonna lose every opportunity you've ever had in your life." Like,
Especially someone who is like, you know, who obviously dealt with that stuff and obviously,
yeah,
wasn't really like everyone else. They did stuff their own way,
yeah.
right?
It's
It's
just
just
there's
like,
just a lot of toxicity, I suppose, and again, I
yeah.
can't really speak for normal high school from my experience, but at least in
Hmm.
mine, it's just not good. And from mine as well,
Yeah, dude.
I've really learned the value of creativity, because in mine,
Yeah, for
like,
sure. To
especially because
express
you were
yourself,
there
yeah.
during the worst of it. Like, you were there when all we did was academics. We didn't have electives. We didn't have
Dude, it was
anything like that.
it was terrible, man.
I mean, we had a class, so we have a
Especially
college
after,
readiness. Sorry, you can go on.
yeah. Especially after, we had just come off of that too. Like that was so
Hmm.
recent. And we went straight into like
Yeah.
academics, and there was so much work and so much stuff piled on top.
Yeah, like we were given like a day to be unhappy, to be
Yeah,
sad,
one day, one
to
day.
assess the situation, and then the next day we
After that,
came
it was like
back, and
never
it
happened.
was, yeah, like I think all of us kind of expected for something to be very different, but no,
Yeah, and
we just put some
nothing ever
greenery
felt
in the
different.
lobby. No, I think we
Yeah,
left.
that got
I think it
forgotten about
actually
pretty
got left.
much.
Yep. I think it got left outside actually at first, and then someone moved it into the lobby. It was either
It's
that or the
just
other way
like,
around, because I know it was outside at some point.
yeah, and I suppose, we had a different insight on the
Yeah.
situation because we were closer,
Yeah. But
but still at the same time. I feel like we should talk about the year after because, like, I feel like that's a good point to talk about with early college, especially
also like
because
junior year.
sophomore, it was sophomore. It was the year after because it was right before freshman year
Oh
ended,
my God, you're
and we were
right.
in sophomore. And
Did my
yeah, when we were in
brain
sophomore
just
year.
that?
Yeah.
Because I specifically remember an
Mm-hmm.
incident where we were in a
No, dude.
class, and our first thought when I found out what we were learning is, man, like I just wish what happened didn't happen. Because I feel like would
Dude.
have had some positivity in this moment
God.
for what we were learning about.
Right.
But yeah, I
Right.
don't know what I was thinking. But
Yeah. No, no, it's good. It
yeah,
really, dude, it all just melts together because everything there is really the same,
yeah, like it's just
to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah, dude. That year we started struggling with some heavy stuff, man.
yeah.
I don't know if we should go into detail on a lot
The
of this stuff,
lunch
but we just
table was
started.
pretty struggling too.
Oh, gosh, dude.
We just couldn't
Yeah, we
stop
were
fighting
just.
every day, bro. It was crazy.
No, yeah, dude. A lot of fighting, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff we probably shouldn't have done,
yeah, probably.
A lot of mistakes. And I
Yeah.
already mentioned that earlier with early college, bro. Once you make
Yeah.
those mistakes, like you never get past it, people will hold it against you.
I suppose that year was kind of one
And
of the worst and one
yeah,
of the in
no.
the long term one of the best because of just the bonds that I made with my friends. Like in our friend
Right,
group,
exactly.
we
All of
got
that
that
made
we
us
hung out a
closer.
lot. We talked a lot
Yeah, dude,
more.
we really did. Yeah.
Like cuz before then, like I don't even remember how it happened, but I know that I talked
You
to
know,
him, like mostly in freshman
dude,
year and with the twins a little bit as well at lunch, but
yeah.
besides
I
that, then
I,
our
I
friend group came
remember
together the next year,
yeah,
mostly.
I remember freshman year when I first um went over there. I don't remember why I went over there. I mean, I remember why, but I don't know why them specifically. Because I had to find other people to sit with because what happened freshman year,
Yeah.
and so we just started talking, bro. And we really just formed that bond because we were that group of people who was just
Mhm.
like we didn't really fit in anywhere else, so we
Mhm.
made our own group, and that group today is probably my strongest bond outside of family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But
I mean, to me, it is like family. Like
yeah.
you, Alice, Dare, Reed, the twins. You guys are like my family, man.
Um I don't know, just the whole I don't know that year. That was a very good part about the year. I suppose like we all hung out a lot. We all went to different places. So
Yeah,
I suppose that
we
year
all
brought
had
us
each
something
other's
really
shoulders.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that year we were
But
all had each other's backs, and a
yeah.
lot of us went through stuff that year too.
Yeah, and that year also like brought a lot
Yeah,
of darkness as well, obviously.
yeah,
But like, I don't know. I don't know. I truly believe life like goes in waves. Like you're gonna have those times where everything just sucks, and then you're gonna have those times where you look
yeah.
back and you're like, I see why that had to happen for
Mhm.
better things to come.
Right,
But like there are just some things that just didn't have any good side.
right.
Like
No,
everything that happened the year before, like that brought nothing good out
yeah.
of that. That
We made a lot of
especially like
mistakes,
yeah,
and like I would go back and change some of it if I would, but then there's parts I wouldn't.
yeah,
And
definitely.
like all of it made me a better person today.
Hmm.
By the end of it,
Yeah.
I'm still struggling, to
Oh yeah,
keep
life
myself
is a
at a
struggle.
level, right? Keep myself this better person that all of that stuff made me. But
And not to touch on religion and like I personally don't hold many religious beliefs, but one thing that I have always found
hmm
fascinating is and with Christianity a lot of people ask the question, so why would a benevolent God put bad things on earth, right?
right,
Like so if everything's if he wants what's best for us, why put bad things? And the answer that I've found is actually very insightful. And it's that
Uh-huh.
to live a life in which everything is perfect, you are living the worst life you could ever live. Because
Right.
without pain, there is no such thing as pleasure.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like, so for instance, breathing. You know, breathing just is. It's neutral. It's existent because it
Exactly.
doesn't have a counter. No, there
Right.
is. I mean, you could say not breathing, but that does make the breath better. I suppose
Mm-hmm.
that's a good example. Is when you can't breathe and then you come up for air and then you get that air. It's great. And it's the
Exactly.
idea that, but when you're not suffocating, you breathe and you don't think about breathing. What if
Yeah.
life was just like breathing, right? It would suck because you'd
Exactly.
have nothing. So
Exactly.
I do respect, like, when bad things happen, you got to get through them so that you can
Mm-hmm.
enjoy life again.
Exactly.
So like
And you can learn from it.
yeah, that's just one thing that I've always found very like insightful and almost kind of motivating. It's like it does make a lot of sense that without pain comes no pleasure. So
Exactly. Like
yeah,
one of the things that affects me the most, you know this of all things,
yes,
relationships, man.
yes.
Relationships.
Can we
Without
just
all the
edit in all
ones
girls are the
that
same right here? Just edit it in.
yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
even being edited,
Well,
but it'll
all
be
the
there.
times that didn't work out, you
Yeah.
know, one time it's just gonna work and I'm gonna know. And it's gonna be because of all the times it didn't work. And I'm taking all that I'm learning and putting it in to one that's gonna be amazing,
hmm I actually had a thought like that similar, like a year or two ago. Not a year or two ago. It must have been
Yeah.
a while back, maybe like seventh grade. But um, I had this. I reflected on every relationship I had ever had, and I realized that each and every one taught me an incredibly valuable lesson that would go into another. A I don't know how to put it, like a better relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just a very very insightful thought, I suppose, because it was
Right.
it's very true. Like every experience you
Right.
have gives you a lesson. Normally, it's not like very
Mhm.
direct. Normally it's just a piece of information you'll use to better
Yeah.
yourself. But each
Mhm.
one, like for like the first one taught me the importance of like just talking. I suppose like how much that means something because we just didn't
Yeah.
talk a lot
Yeah.
after
I
a
feel like
certain
it's a good
point.
thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then like another one brought me like the idea of I guess maintaining a balance because as where
Yeah.
my first one I feel like fell apart because we just like distanced over time.
Mhm.
The next one
Mhm.
fell apart because it
Yeah.
was not. We ended up focusing on each other and only that. Like we
Yeah.
like would talk during class all the time. Like we would like
Exactly.
talk instead of like talking to our family. We would just talk to each other. And that was it.
Yeah.
And it came to this point where like we
Mhm.
both suddenly realized at once, like, oh my god, I have done nothing but do this for a month and some change.
Exactly.
And you just kind of it just hits you, I suppose. So that was valuable. And well, then my next one
Yeah.
just taught me a whole slew of lessons that I could write a book about. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Um,
um,
so I guess I should talk about mine then too, dude. So
yeah, dude.
freshman years, I was really childish. It was like we were kids. We didn't
Yeah.
really know anything, and so it was just a lot of petty stuff. Today wouldn't matter at all by
hmm
the end. Like it was really just nonsense. And that and what happened freshman year,
Yeah.
it really helped me see like how how do I put it? Just to not be so childish, right?
hmm
And that going into sophomore year, both of those things I really kept inside because I felt like there was nowhere for me to talk about it really.
hmm
And I wasn't in the right place to go into a relationship, but I did, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was really just not in the right mindset. I was angry all the time, upset all the time, sad all the time. And yeah, I'd take it out on the girl I was with for no reason really, or just distance myself. And so that taught me, you know, to like focus on my emotions, better myself, and to be a better person if I was gonna do another relationship. And then junior year, this is the only girl you don't know, dude. It just came out of nowhere, right? I told myself after sophomore year I was done. I was not doing it again, and I went and I did it again, and it was just like an instant thing, dude. Like we were talking instantly, and like
To quote a very wise soul, I admit it. Another hoe got me tripped.
finished, yeah. And
Very wise words. Very
and
wise
dude,
words.
it was just like crazy. I mean, I'll admit it right now, dude. I still feel it, even though she's gone, bro. I
Yeah.
love her, right? And I'd do anything in the world to get her back, but there's nothing I can do now. But that taught me, like, man, if I do what I need to do and I do it correctly, like, I can have something beautiful, man. I can have something
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Because it was such a good thing until it ended,
Yeah.
And I felt like I did what I needed to do. And so whenever I go into another one, I have, from all of that, I have what I need to do, you know?
Yeah.
It made
But
me a better person.
and you said something that actually reminded me of something when you were like, "I'd do anything to get her back." I've been
Yeah.
there, and I really had to teach myself something,
Mhm.
and that's like, unless they come back by themselves
Right,
and they
exactly.
show
Yeah.
very like obviously they want to make this work and they want to fix whatever happened. Like
Yeah.
unless they broke up with you for something that was genuinely on you, right?
Right.
Like
Exactly.
some people just leave and that's the way it is and it is what it is. But
Mhm.
with those
Which is
people,
what
I'm
happened.
like for me, I just realized that I don't want any part of you unless you come back and you show you want a genuine part of me because otherwise you just, you kind of sit there and you're like, man, I really love this person, and the question is like, why still? And like it's
Yeah.
almost unanswerable. But the things they've done
Mhm.
would make you think I wouldn't want to still love this person, and that's why I don't really understand
Yeah.
love. Like I don't
Mhm.
understand how it works.
Exactly.
I get affected by it,
Yeah.
and I don't like
Me
it.
neither.
It's like COVID.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Please take it away.
Right.
Can I wear a mask to get rid of it? Is
No,
that
it's a
how that works?
yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a powerful thing, man. It's really
yeah,
powerful. And me, like, dude, I feel it too fast and I feel it too hard.
yeah,
And
100%.
so I
I feel
fall
that.
harder than a lot of people.
Yeah,
And I really let it affect me for a long time.
yeah. The
But
higher you
at the
fly,
end
the
of the
harder
day,
you
dude,
fall, man.
yeah, it's such an important thing in the world. And without
Mhm.
love, dude, there
Yeah.
wouldn't be a lot of the good things that there are. It's very broad, but you know,
Yeah, love does actually bring a lot of great things. It's I see love
yeah,
more as like a tool, I suppose. You gotta like treat it like a tool. Like you can either destroy something with it or create something with it.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. And sometimes a tool breaks and all you end up doing with it is making something worse if you keep trying to use the same tool. You gotta just
Yeah,
step
sometimes you
down, let it
gotta
go,
know when
and
to just stop.
yeah. Uh, this has become a very
Sometimes,
wise first episode.
yeah, dude.
Very insightful.
Sometimes it's something that you can't fix with a tool.
Yeah.
You have to fix yourself.
It's also very true, you know?
Yeah.
Like, uh,
Like
humans
you
are
can't
strange.
always rely on love to fix things. Sometimes you have to fix things yourself, whether it be
Yeah.
with you, whether it be with people, anything.
Because that's another very important point is like, with a hammer is good at nailing a nail. But like sometimes you have to screw a screw. Sometimes you have to, do something light or gentle. You can't like just bash it with the hammer. That's like
Yeah.
it's where like it doesn't always work the way you want it to and you just gotta
Hmm.
fix it. But you can't fix it just by saying, "Oh, I love you." You can't fix it by going, "Oh, but this or this." Like you gotta actually do the
Sometimes it's
work. Yeah. But that just made me think like you said something earlier as well about like friends and family, and
hmm
it just kind of that sparked a moment in my mind of like You know, like I've really had to teach myself as well that like family is the people who you happen to be genetically related to. You know,
Yeah.
like I guess before like there's this huge concept of oh family is the most important thing, and I've really
Hmm.
come to learn that like that's not always true. Like some people get lucky, right? Some people have really good families and
Yeah.
like good everything, and not all of my family is bad.
Some
There
of
I have some pretty good people in my
yeah,
family, but
yeah.
I just don't happen to.
Sometimes, you don't get lucky.
Yeah, I'm just not around the good ones all the time. So it's like, but it's taught me, especially. So one person in my family who I consider very toxic to me is like holds that idea that oh family is so important, and I'm like, but like it is until it's
Exactly.
toxic. And
Yeah.
like there comes a point where it's not anymore because it's better to go without than to drink
Right.
the poison, so to speak.
And just because, they're your family doesn't mean that you have to support them.
Yeah,
Because they can be a terrible person or they can have terrible ideals about things. It's just sometimes you cannot support that.
yeah. And
And,
like I know personally
you
in my
know,
family, there are people who have opinions that I really don't like.
yeah, same,
Like
same.
so again, not I don't want to touch on things that are too controversial, but just
Yeah,
specifically with two things, like the most controversial things in the world, which are politics and religion, right?
right, exactly.
I think
Hmm.
those can be good, but I find
Right.
too often there are people who use
And,
them against others.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
And
like,
both of those things were pushed on me so much when I was a kid, right? And
mm-hmm,
they brainwashed me with it.
yeah,
It made me do a lot of things I regret based on the things they taught me, based
yeah,
off
and
of
again, like,
politics and religion.
yeah, and again, not to like say any religion or politics are bad. I just firmly believe that,
Right.
like, I don't think any religion is bad unless
Hmm.
it hurts another person. I don't
Exactly.
like. I never tell anyone, "Oh, your religion's wrong. Oh, this, or this,"
Hmm.
unless like they want to get into that with me. I'll have the conversation
Yeah.
with you if you want to ask me my opinion or you want to ask me how I feel or you try and push
Yeah.
that onto me. I will then come back
Hmm.
like, okay, well, this is how I feel. If you
Yeah, absolutely.
if you want to put your view out there and you want to try and make me agree, then I will do the same. Not to be like rude, but I do find it rude when you try and force someone else to agree with you.
Yeah, to
I
see
love,
your view of things, and that's the only thing they can
yeah,
do.
and I love discussions about these things. That's the thing for me is like I used to I basically a life situation happened and I was living with my brother and a couple of people, but like almost everyone had a different religion. I believe we had an atheist, a Wiccan, a
Yeah.
Christian, like all these different perspectives. And the one thing I found fascinating is never did any of them like go out of their way to push their religion on someone else, but they would have discussions. Like, well, this is the way
Yeah.
I think, and this is the way I think. And I think it's a discussion becomes an argument when you have the only goal of conversion.
Hmm.
Like that's what a debate is
Yeah.
for, is a discussion
Exactly.
to convert. But when
Right.
you like when having a discussion about things, I think growth can happen. But if you come in it like, no, I'm going to make you believe it, you're only going to make yourself seem less good.
Hmm.
Because that's then
Especially
there's some.
to
Hmm?
especially to somebody who's younger, and like they're
Yeah.
so impressionable, and you push things on them and make them feel a certain way.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
And that's I suppose that's something I struggle with because one person, like to one religion, it may be well, this is the right way, and I want my kid to know the right way, so I'm going to teach them this, right? And that's one
Yeah.
of those questions of can you call that person wrong? Because technically, like they're doing what they believe is right, they're doing what they think will help their kid in the long run. So like, is that a bad thing? I think
Yeah.
personally, I think it's okay as long as you let them make their mind when that time comes. Like, if you want to bring your kid to
Yeah.
church or you
Absolutely.
want to bring your kid to any like, I'm just using church because it's the most common example, but any like religious place, that's fine. But don't disrespect them if they come to a point in their life when they disagree with you. They say, "Well,
Right.
I've walked
Exactly.
my path now, and I think this instead of what you've taught me." Just don't disrespect it, and everything's fine. You tried to teach them what you believe in, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And I just see too often the disrespect about difference of opinions. Like,
Yeah.
so now one person in my family is a big
Especially,
offender of using religion as a weapon, and the other one is a
yeah.
big offender of using politics as a weapon. I even remember we were having an argument once, and he tried to say the thing was wrong with me was that I had, no, not to give out political beliefs, but the other side's teachings.
Oh yeah.
Like
Same
that's what
thing for
he
me.
gives me with, and I'm like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? Are you trying to say that my mother raised me wrong? Are you like what are you trying
Right.
to say by telling me that I had the other side's teachings? Like don't that's just rude. You have a political opinion and that's okay. I'm never going to tell you you're
Yeah.
wrong because I don't debate politics. Now in a debate, feel
Yeah.
free to say someone's wrong, but a consensual debate. Like both of you
Right.
walk in there knowing you want to convert the other person, that's okay. But when it's one-sided, that's where I find the issue, I suppose.
Yeah. Exactly. I only changed my political beliefs recently, I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to have my own opinion ever.
And
And
I
I took a lot of stuff, you know, for if I ever said anything that was different from whatever certain people in my family viewed.
yeah, and I just think we've come to a point as a society where we've become so focused on, oh well, I'm right. Like
Yeah.
oh, I know, and if you disagree, and here's another thing, this is just a pet peeve, but I hate this phrase so much. You think you're always right. I'm sorry, do you open your mouth with the intention to be wrong? Is that something you do? I don't do that.
It's
When I
yeah.
speak, I believe I'm correct when I speak. But if you
Mhm.
want to make that argument, you can, as in like a term for like your position, not like a screaming match. But no, if you want to
Right.
make the argument that, oh, you think you know everything, no, what you should be saying is you are too stubborn to listen to a different idea. Now, even that I don't really care for because that makes the assumption you're correct and this person's wrong, right? But
And
still, that would be a
yeah.
better
And
way because, sorry, you can go ahead.
I feel like it's especially a problem with our generation in older generations, like the
Yeah.
generation from the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're so completely different now.
Yeah.
We butt heads on everything pretty much. Like there's nothing we can agree on really.
Yeah,
Because
and
we want so
it's.
much change and they want everything to stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just back and forth and it never really goes anywhere.
Yeah, and like that's just an unfortunate thing that I understand the idea that well, I live this way and I don't want my life to change all of a sudden.
Right.
But for me it's like, change isn't always bad. I get the fear
Exactly.
that oh, computers are taking over or stuff like that. But when it comes to human
Yeah.
decency issues, I don't understand why like there's so much hate. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
like people
It,
live
you
different
know,
ways than you and you can't comprehend it. Like for
you
instance,
can't
oh sorry, you can go on.
you can't say, what someone else experiences if you live a completely different life and a completely different lifestyle. You can't
Exactly.
go up and tell them that you're wrong about what you experience and you're not going to get the change that you want because we deserve what we have and you guys don't deserve what we
Mm-hmm.
have.
Just I don't really get. There's just a lot of things that's like I think our generation has become more humanistic. Like we care more for, the idea
Yeah,
that anybody should be able to do whatever they want to do
for
and
sure.
that's that. But other people like again, they may have political motivations or whatever religion they believe in motivations, but I just find
You know,
it specifically older people because and again, not to like start any
yeah,
drama because like I know people from all different religions of our generation who
right.
don't believe in the same traditional like values that others do of the same exact religion. There will be people who are like, oh well,
Yeah,
this group of people is awful because this says so.
yeah,
But then
because
there will
this and
be
that,
younger
right,
people with the same exact like reading that are like, well,
that
no,
are
that's
perfectly
not
fine
what
with
that
it.
says. Yeah. And then
You
like
know,
I'm fine with you disagreeing with a person's lifestyle, right? It
right,
just comes to when you're
right.
being rude that's when I have an
to
issue.
where
Like
it needs to stop.
yeah,
Yeah.
just I think as humans
One.
we've just really gone to a weird place, and this is kind of like this.
Yeah.
I really think 2020 is like a pivotal moment in the world. Like the
Right.
2020s, this
Especially with
next
everything
decade.
going on.
Yeah, this next decade is
Yeah,
gonna
it's gonna.
really do something because for one, technology is
Right.
exponential, right? So like
Exactly. Exactly.
we're on the verge of curing blindness. Like not perfectly, but there are glasses that can actually give a blind man the ability to see. Not like perfect
Which
and in
is
color and everything, but that's already
insane.
here, you
Insane.
know? Yeah, and there's like
Yeah.
an arm that you can have, like let's say you lose an arm, and you can implant this into
And
your brain
yeah.
and you can move it. You can feel with it.
Right.
Where we're working on something
And
called the Hyperloop, which should be able to travel around like Mach 1, and it's a
which is
train.
insane. Again.
Like Chicago to San
Absolutely insane.
Francisco in 12 minutes is the estimated time when this is done.
Crazy.
That yeah, it's just mental. And it's like we're doing
And
so many great things, but as people, what else are we gonna do? You know, like we know
right.
technology is gonna go crazy. We know we're gonna go places,
Right.
but like as people, what's gonna happen when we're in office, for instance? You know, because eventually the people there now are
Yeah.
gonna go away. So like, what are we gonna change? What are our
Right.
kids gonna change? What are their kids gonna change?
Exactly. Because they're gonna have different views than the views we have right now too.
Yeah.
But one of the things going back to like everything going on in 2020 and how it's gonna change,
Hmm.
one of my biggest pet peeves is people bringing politics into everything. Race,
Hmm.
viruses that are spreading. I don't know how it happened, but people politics has become such a big thing that people want to blame that on everything wrong,
Hmm.
which a lot of stuff wrong is to do with politics. It's just really like people use it such terrible ways, dude. Like
Hmm.
basing a certain race on a certain political party, saying a certain political party is causing viruses to, you know,
Yeah.
cause stuff, make stuff happen. It's absurd, dude. It's really absurd. Like it really just doesn't. It's not fathomable to why people would do something, man. Right? And I feel it's really, really just the U.S. I feel like other places, they're not, the same way with it as we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm.
Like people here really take it super seriously.
But that might be
Like
just our
it's their life
perspective
or
as
death.
like Americans, you know. But
Yeah.
because I do know there are like
Americans are
some
so
people out
self-centered.
there. We actually pretty are. We're pretty self-centered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
Um.
Compared to most people, we're so self-centered.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. That's just I don't know. I mean, the world's just gone kind of weird. I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe it's because we're in that moment where like we're learning a lot more all at once. Like it's sort of the wake up call, I suppose, around these ages. Like I guess we're kind of at the end of it now, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but these last like 4, maybe 5 years have really been those
Hmm.
moments where you start to like analyze everything around you, form your opinions, and it's like
Exactly.
it just shows like the people. I don't know. I just don't get why the people before us were the way they were, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, for sure. It's insane to think
Because
about.
yeah, the classic
But I'm sure,
argument
they
is
think, I mean, I know they do. They think, why are we the way we are?
yeah. I suppose the classic argument that I've always heard is, well, it's the way you were raised, you know, like the people who.
Yeah.
So, for instance, racism. Now the common argument for a racist is, well, this is the way I was raised.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
why aren't we that way?
Yeah,
Why are we not
exactly.
racist? Because we saw the crap and we were like, no. So shouldn't you have also seen the
We
crap and
see
the mistreatment
we
and
see
been
how
like, that's
terrible
not
that
good?
stuff was
Yeah.
because it was just I don't understand how people could see that as right. It just doesn't make sense
Yeah.
at all. And we see that and we want it to change. still going on, and they really, really dislike it.
Yeah, they do.
I
But
know from personal experience that they really dislike it. Talking to family members and stuff.
mm-hmm. Just yeah. But how long would you like to record for? Because we just hit an hour and 5 minutes.
We can stop soon if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
I just don't know how long you want to do for each episode. Like an hour and some change probably is.
Yeah,
It's probably
probably
a pretty
good.
good place, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah. But we really just gave out a well of wisdom there.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we're new at this, so we're
yeah, we're
still
just
trying
trying
to
to figure
figure
out what to
everything
do.
out. This might be rough because
Yeah.
we talked about so much, but
Yeah.
no,
But
I feel like it
next
was good.
episode, yeah, we'll probably have like I guess a guest on and just be able to talk about
Yeah,
something a little less
yeah,
broad because this episode was very like
right,
about
right.
everything.
I also want to get some, people in the podcast that stay
Oh yeah,
on and talk.
that'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, to have more like views and stuff
Mm-hmm.
instead of just the two of us. But max 4, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking maybe just 3.
Yeah, so am I.
But yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
where most draws the line is like 2 or 3 people that stay and like everyone else
Mhm.
rotates. Not really
Yeah.
rotates, but comes in. But
Yeah.
yeah, this has been a very good start to what hopefully is a
Right.
bright future.
Future. Yeah.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode of yeah, the good old mental palate cleanser, then go ahead and slap that like button. No, I'm kidding. Hit that notification bell. But
Yeah.
yeah, just
For
check
sure.
out the socials down in the description. He makes some pretty good music. I make some subpar content, and
Nah. Yeah.
yeah,
We're both pretty good at our stuff,
yeah,
I would say.
and
Yeah, but
there should be a link to probably like you can make like a YouTube channel maybe for what we're trying to make happen for like our projects. But
yeah, I feel like we can make a YouTube channel for the podcast too.
yeah, just check out the
Maybe.
socials
Yeah.
and yeah, I guess we will
Yeah.
we'll catch you around next time.
Yeah. Before we go, remember, clean your mental palate
Of course, got to clean that mental palate. All right,
or cleanse. It's cleanse. It's cleanse.
is it actually?
Yeah, I think it's cleanse.
Oh,
See,
oh
already
shoot,
messing
you're
up. It's
right.
okay though. We're
You're
still
right.
learning. We're still
You're
learning.
right. It is
We're still
cleanse.
learning. Yeah. Cleanse
All
your
right.
mental palate.
But yeah, we'll
See you guys later.
catch you around next time. Peace.